Well, it's been rumoured for a while, GB News, and of course I've reported on this channel before about the rumours of this new TV news channel, and it's now emerged, massive news, that Andrew Neil is set to become the chairman of GB News, a major development in terms of the media landscape in the UK. I'm going to bring you all the very latest on this in this report, but please remember, support this channel if you enjoy what I do by clicking subscribe and the bell so you don't miss future reports. Now, Andrew Neil making the announcement last night on Twitter in a statement saying, important thread for me. With heavy heart, I announce I'll be leaving the BBC despite sterling efforts by new Director General to come up with other programming opportunities. It could not quite repair damage done when the Andrew Neil show was cancelled early summer and Politics Live taken off air. But I leave with no animosity or desire to settle scores. I look back on my 25 years doing live political programmes for the BBC with affection and gratitude for brilliant colleagues at Millbank, Andrew Neil said, who always made sure I went into the studio fully briefed and equipped for the fray. They are the best, he says. If they can make me look good, they can make anybody look good. There could have been a different outcome, believe it there. I wish the BBC and the new DG well. BBC will always be special to me, he says. As for the future, and this is the interesting part, he says, I'm delighted to announce I've accepted the post of chairman of GB News. He says calls it a new news channel to be launched early in the new year, bringing new perspectives to the news. I will also be presenting a new nightly primetime show on GB News. Watch this space. So I'm going to get into all the reaction and everything else, but this is major stuff. There's been rumours for a while about GB News. I imagine the BBC are quite rocked by this, and of course it gives this new channel immediate credibility in the form of Andrew Neil, someone who I think is incredibly well respected as a journalist and someone who really brings that credibility to GB News. And Andrew Neil going on to say in another statement that was put out, he calls GB News the most exciting thing to happen in British television news for more than 20 years. He said that they will champion robust, balanced debate and a range of perspectives on the issues that affect everyone in the UK, not just those living in the London area. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? He said we've seen a huge gap in the market for a new form of television news. GB News aimed at the vast number of British people who feel unheard by the media. And goodness me, isn't that a lot? We've just seen the explosion of this channel alone on YouTube has been remarkable, and thanks so much for that, guys. When I highlighted GB News before, it was interesting. Some of you very keen to see what happens with GB News. Others of you just saying, no, you're happy to stick to YouTube now. You've got outlets like Westminster where you get your news, and of course I thank you for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate it. The Spectator had a bit more on this. The Spectator had a story on this saying that GB News is raising between 55 million and 65 million US dollars. And the lead investor is Discovery Inc., which is behind the Discovery Channel and Science Channel. It's stumping up about a quarter of the cash. It looks as if the fundraising will be oversubscribed, which is a very good sign indeed, building a pretty big war chest to be spent on journalists. This sounds like it's going to be a pretty major operation. Of course, the challenge will be to get revenues high enough to be able to fund that, because unlike the BBC, that won't have the advantage of having a guaranteed income it doesn't even have to earn. The premise of GB News, the Spectator report, is fairly simple, that the current players, BBC, Sky, ITV, are so similar in tone and format that there's space for a bit more diversity, for intelligent, discussion-based show coming from a more independent mindset. Not a British answer to Fox News, the analogy often reached for whenever a rival to the BBC is mentioned, but a station that might broadcast good news a bit more often, or not be so quick to assume that everything that goes wrong is the fault of the government. One that takes a more even-handed approach to culture wars and doesn't see coverage of US politics as an exercise in exorcism. And it blows my mind, the sense of delusion that you see in the mainstream media. I mean, look at recent reports that show you now that trust in UK news and UK media is right near the bottom of the international comparisons. I think when YouGov looked at the international comparisons of trust in media, the UK, the British public were, I think, second from bottom in terms of how much they trust the media in their country. And journalists seem to either ignore these findings or just don't care. It must be one of the two. So it looks like, there's definitely a gap in the market here that GB News have recognised. Spectator also reported that Andrew himself will be hosting 4 one-hour shows a week in prime time and will also chair the GB News editorial board. His coverage of the US election will be his last BBC gig. It will be advertiser friendly, GB News, so freely available as a Sky channel, on Freeview, Virgin and all digital platforms. The broader idea is to make a television model that's scalable abroad with bespoke programming for other markets when it branches beyond the UK. With that kind of money and that kind of staff, it intends to launch a high quality 24/7 station from the off. So it's going in hard here. It's going in to be one of the big boys. It's going in here well financed, seemingly with a lot of personnel, and of course Andrew Neil there is chairman. So, coming in with some serious heft here. This is the operation. I guess the challenge will be, will its digital output on outlets like YouTube be up to scratch? Because I do think it's massively overlooked now in terms of not just putting out clips, but actually the amount of people that want to watch full shows, etc., on social media, on YouTube, etc. Now, the BBC, as I said, they should be rocked by this. This is one of the most respected journalists in the country deciding to leave the BBC for this new operation. The BBC have put out a statement saying, "We'd like to give our heartfelt thanks to Andrew for his many years of work at the BBC, during which he's informed and entertained millions of viewers." They say from his early broadcasting days on Dispatch Box in the Dispatch Box in the 1990s to his recent forensic and agenda-setting political interviews, he has proved a formidable and hugely talented broadcaster. The BBC say that for years he was at the heart of the irreverent and much loved This Week and played a key role in the daily and Sunday Politics Live and the BBC's general election coverage. "We wish Andrew every success in his new role," they say. "We're sorry the US election coverage will be his last BBC presentation work for the foreseeable future, but he will always be welcome at the BBC." Now, some of the reaction, some of the response to this. Former Labour MP Kate Hubby hit straight back at the BBC. She said of that statement, "Rubbish. You never used his huge talent properly. E.g. putting This Week on so late was sheer stupidity. One of the few political journalists respected by both left and right. Just another reason now to hashtag defund the BBC." And isn't that, one of the interesting aspects of this for the BBC at a time when a record number of people are aware and backing the campaign to defund the BBC, is that actually, of course, once you have another channel, it's likely to deplete the BBC's audience even further. It's likely to raise even further questions about why on earth do we have to pay a licence fee when we've got another news channel here that can give us the content that we want to see. Some major questions here for the BBC. I welcome this, and of course, if you're not following me, go and follow me at Michael_Heaver. I think this is a superb development. I've long thought it's kind of wacky if you think about it, that in terms of British 24-hour news channels, you've got two choices. You've got BBC and Sky, and I know lefties like to throw rocks at the American structure, but in America you have a choice. In America you have a genuine choice, a plethora of mainstream media channels. Of course, I think the lack of choice here has driven a lot of people onto the likes of YouTube. And, I've only just got going here, guys. I'm going to be ramping up what I'm doing on YouTube massively. But I think it's great that in terms of mainstream media TV news, you're now going to have another choice. And I predict it will make the BBC even more irrelevant than it is now. Former Labour MP Kate Hubby saying as well that she thinks it's excellent news, a new news channel so badly needed now that the BBC has lost much respect in the last few years. Definitely the beginning of the end of the licence fee, according to Kate Hubby. Nigel Farage also saying the BBC, Sky, ITV and Channel 4 are all woke TV. Excellent news that Andrew Neil is setting up an opposition. The gap in the market is huge. And, people over the years have dismissed Nigel and sought to play down his influence. This is a guy that understands the national mood. And I think him saying that, him laying out how that gap in the market is there shows you the potential that GB News has. And I think they've got to not shy away from being different. That's all I would say, is they need to make sure that they have a key difference in the output from Sky and BBC. They don't try and please everyone. They don't try and water it down and become a bit vanilla. You need to have a distinct brand identity, I think. That's really what the opportunity is for GB News. But it sounds like they understand that. And interestingly, Amol Rajan, who's the media editor at the BBC, he's a good guy actually. He's even said 32 years ago, Andrew Neil was founding chairman of Sky. The chance to play the same role in what could be the biggest shake-up in UK broadcasting news for decades was more enticing than the various proposals made by the BBC and Amal Rajan saying the launch of GB News will be a big moment in British culture. I think it will. Let's see what happens, but I think all the signs are this is going to be a serious outlet that can potentially be absolutely massive if it dares to be different and dares to actually cater those looking for an alternative. Let me know what you think, guys. What do you want to see from GB News? What would entice you to become a daily or a regular viewer of GB News? What are you wanting to see on there? And as ever, guys, if you have enjoyed this report, please click subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss future reports, and click the thumbs up button. And of course, if you want to support me, what I'm doing on here, I really appreciate you watching. But if you want to support me on Patreon, that would be very much appreciated. It's because of you guys that I'm going to keep doing videos on nearly a daily basis. So thanks so much for your comments. Thanks so much for your support. We can have some more exclusive content on Patreon. So this is one outlet that's trying to give you that alternative to mainstream media. Welcome to GB News. And of course, guys, thanks very much for watching.